G'day there, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and congratulations to each and every one of you. You've all done it. You've found the champ dog. Intro is going to be quick today because the video is long. You are going to see an epic, drawn-out battle of wills between two players on very similar decks, neither of whom have any idea how to optimally pilot their deck. I feel like my opponent was still learning the ins and outs of their deck as well at the same time as I was, because they took a lot of time on their decisions, made some plays I thought were not optimal, but you're going to see all that. Yeah, this game goes really long and it ends up being decided by the timer. I feel our opponent had a stronger build of the deck specifically for this matchup. They had some cards in there that just gave them a massive advantage. Specifically in these sorts of long drawn-out matchups and that I couldn't match. But the power that I did have playing Dimir is that I can definitively answer an opposing Leer and an opposing Hullbreaker Horror, whereas Azorius, which you're going to see, or Izzet, for example, all they can do is bounce it back to my hand, so I can just replay it at a better time. So they can slow me down, but they can't permanently answer my threats, whereas I can permanently answer theirs, which is a big advantage. And I can also get into their hand, which means if I bounce something, I can then make them discard it as well. Or if I can get them to bounce their own Hullbreaker to protect it, I can then get into their hand and make them discard it. So I have some more definitive answers in my build. My opponent has some more powerful card advantage options and is able to churn through their deck and has some better tempo stuff. But yeah, this was a really fun game. Went on for ages. I felt fantastic when I won. But yeah, it's going to be a long one. So grab some popcorn. Make sure you've got a coffee, and let's get into the arena. How wonderful. It's nice to play a control deck that can start playing on turn 1. I don't love this situation. I'm actually going to, despite what I just said, lead on the tap land. Just so that it doesn't come back to bite us a little bit later. I'm guessing our opponents on Vampires. Edgar Markov sleeves and a Sorin avatar. They are not. Confirmed, our opponent is not on Vamps. Dimir Vamps? Using what's the water? What's the Cthulhu Vampire Lord guy? Nah, okay, so he's probably on a Hullbreaker deck as well. And this thing is going to be a problem for us if we don't find an answer. I'll draw that, please. I'll draw that, please. Might as well just play this. I don't think they're doing anything super exciting on turn 3. Sunset Revelry. So do I want to get rid of the Hullbreaker or do I want to get rid of Leer? Comes down sooner. That's cool. This is actually really cool in this deck. To protect Leer or Hullbreaker. So this comes down sooner and gives them card advantage, but I can't counter this. I think it's got to be Leer though. I really don't know what's correct here. Oh, I also could have killed Jacob there. I should have just killed Jacob there. I need to wait for them to tap out, unfortunately, as well, because they can just bounce it whenever they want to. Okay, now they can't. Interesting. Play around the old Twari disruption. Still makes him replay it. It's not nothing. It's not great, but it's not nothing. Just hold up our instant speed shenanigans now. But I know what this card is. One of these cards is the other Alchemist's Retrieval. Oh, that's rough. I want all of these. I want all of these. I need to take Fading Hope, I think, to protect Lear. Would have loved that Hullbreaker, but I don't have the lands for it at the moment, so unfortunately our opponent's hitting land drops way more smoothly than we are. That is so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. So, I can try to spend my whole turn killing it. Okay. It's just important to know they did not have a way to protect it there. But yeah, they're essentially drawing 2 cards a turn and they get to cast one for free. It's not great for us. Hopefully we draw a land. Do we reckon that's a Saw It Coming? It's probably not, since they're playing Lear. Maybe it is. Unfortunate we don't get to hold anything up to protect it because of the disruption, but what does one do? And it's free again. That's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, this thing is really good in the mirrors, but it's not fantastic in any other situation. Learn time. Yeah, I mean, we haven't hit our land drops very well. That's an issue. Okay, so they don't have any instance with which to protect the Hullbreaker. Yeah, this thing has been kicking our butt. Kicking our butt. And look how many more cards than us they've got. I would love to resolve mine, but I can't protect it. They have an instant. That's so unfortunate. They have an instant. Because, I mean, obviously I could flash this in and then consider. But they can just, yeah, cast something and bounce it to my hand with the Hullbreaker. Let's just move on to game 2. So this is just what it's going to be. Just Hullbreaker mirrors all the way down. Take out all my sweepers. More targeted removal because we want to deal with the Jacob. Do I want these scavengers? I mean, I kind of do, just, you know, extra little threat to bring in, but everything else here is just good. I mean, Fading Hope is obviously less good. Maybe we try like this. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. End's not amazing. But what does one do? Would have loved to hit a Dread Fugue there. No, I will draw that, please. Hopefully they go for a Jacob. They just slam it and we can disruption. It was not to be. Saw it coming. Doomscar. A little unfortunate because they at least get to do something with their mana. We do have Memory Deluge here, something. Interesting. That is an interesting play. Be nice to find a Celestis in this match, but we didn't. Like, it would have been nice to have found it and played it on turn 3. Would have been nice to open with some discard. I wonder what they name. Hullbreaker Horror? Sure. That doesn't bother us at the moment. We can bounce it with Divide by 0 when it's closer to time. Did I bring in Go Blank? I did. Oh. Would have also been nice to find Go Blank at some point. We'll just try another Memory Deluge. Might as well cast this. Actually do need lands at the moment. So the only things in my graveyard at the moment are these guys. Probably name Lear here. Yep. Just going to use up as much of our mana as we can. Do this now. They have 5 mana. What they gonna do with it? Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have done that on, I should have done that on their turn when they tried to replay the Curse of Silence. Curse of Silence is actually pretty good here. Unfortunately, they can Hullbreaker and Hawken here. Oh, okay, what's this? So we just try to kill their Lear at end step, basically. Yep. Your Lear has resolved. Now what is the play? What is the play? I should have countered that. I should have sacked the Hermit to counter that. That is an oops on my part. "16 minutes left on my clock. 17 for my opponent." It's been a tough one. Had to use the old noggin. Not good at that. I am not good at that. It's suboptimal. Hullbreaker Horror. With 3 mana left. Sure. Unfortunately, I didn't have 3 mana open myself to divide it by 0. Do they have another instant? They do. Yeah, they should just bounce both of my creatures. Okay, that's just a straight up oopsie. Oh, they already had this targeted for bouncing. Okay. I could have environmental scienced first to get a land down, but then I'd be tapped out. At least this way I have access to Fading Hope, if that becomes a thing in which I'm interested. Oh, I've already played a land this turn. Oh no, I screwed myself. That could be what costs me this game. That could definitely be what costs me this game. Oh no. Oh no. I needed to have 3 open for divide by 0. And now they get to flip this. I threw this game. I punted. I just punted hard there. I punted so hard. Punted so hard. We have 3 mana left after this. Yikes. It's Curse of Silence, man. I think without these, I think I would have had a pretty clear path to victory by this point. Oh, it's rough, man. It's rough. This game has been rough. Interesting play there, given that when they return it to my hand, I can just replay it. But yeah, their Hullbreaker is going to be just devastating now. Test of Talent's also a lot worse because they got all these things in the graveyard. So it would have been nice to hit a go blank at some point. But it seems it was not to be. Wish I just had like another 2 mana spell. Follow this up with. They can just Fading Hope this quite easily. I guess I can counter the Fading Hope and bounce the Hawkins Insight. Well, that's nice. Dread Fugue, a bit late to the party. But at the very least, I got to get most of the relevant things off my opponent's board. Following this up with Lear will be pretty brutal. But we can Dread Fugue, get something cheap out of their hand. Oh, interesting. So they're gonna name Hullbreaker Horror again, I assume. Yep, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. But we should be able to clear their board. I'm actually going to pay full price. If there's nothing cheap there, we can just discard the Lear. Oh, is our opponent down to 10 minutes and we're down to 11? Yes. Pulling ahead. Okay, that's unfortunate. They've got a number of cheap spells they can cast. But if they cast Fading Hope or Divide by Zero to try to protect this, we can Test of Talents them. Mind you, if they go with Fading Hope, they can cast a second Fading Hope in response. Bouncing that. I wonder what they chose. So we still have to fight through like all of this nonsense. But that's a couple of Hullbreakers we've got through. 2 Hullbreakers and a Leer. I wonder at what point they sack this to draw a card. So hopefully they didn't keep the other... Oh yeah, they can't cast it anyway. So I mean, that's pretty nice. Is that all of their divide by zeros? 1, 2, 3. It's a lot of them anyway. Mother... Mother lover. Ugh. I've got almost 2 minutes more than my opponent. That could be what decides this game in the end. Next turn I can Hullbreaker and Malevolent to bounce something. Unfortunately, Go Blank makes the Scavenger a lot worse. I bet they've got a Hullbreaker or a Leer under one. Yeah, they've got to have something real good under this. They have to have something very good under this to sacrifice the other one. Welcome back. Doomscar, sure. I'm probably just going to cast the other side of Hermit, bounce their Insight. Do they not have a Lair of the Frost Dragon or something? I'm gonna do this now and then follow up with the Hermit. And I'm just going to hope they don't have an answer to the Hullbreaker for one turn. Just need them to whiff for one turn, or for 5 more minutes. I'm actually going to close this down so you guys can just watch the clock. Yep, recast that. That's a good start for us. Play a land. That's excellent for us too. Do they want to get frisky with the tokens? They do. So they drew a Doomscar, I guess. No, they wouldn't have played Hawken if they drew the good Doomscar. That's such a cool interaction. I didn't even think of that. That is so cool. I'm reopening this. No, I'm not. I guess I'm not reopening this. I'm reopening this. What is left in my game in terms of counter spells? There's one Jwari Disruption. That's all. What about removal? No. Okay, unfortunately, I don't want them to have either of these. I'm actually just going to take Sunset Revelry. I can continue to bounce. One mana off double casting this. I should have activated the Hall of Storm Giants. No, then I wouldn't be able to cast this anyway. Yeah, I can continue to bounce Jacob. He's actually at this point less threatening than Sunset Revelry. And there is no point activating Hall because that just plays into their Field of Ruin. Yeah, unfortunately they can't sacrifice this unless I cast another Hullbreaker Horror. Looks like our opponent just wants to play this out to the bitter end. We've got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. Hullbreaker Horror of their own. With 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with just enough mana left to replay it. So I need to hit another instant to keep theirs off the field. Wonderful. So I want the Dread Fugue to like permanently answer it. And how many untapped lands do I have? Enough that I can take Memory Deluge, Dread Fugue. Oh, hello. Hello. So that should wrap this game up really tightly. I can't believe we're gonna get there. I thought for sure I had lost this game. For sure. I maybe should have targeted the Curse of Silence there, but double Jacob. But that's alright, they don't have a answer to the Hullbreaker, so from this point Hullbreaker just takes over the game, most likely. Unless they hit one of their own here. Which is entirely possible. Nope, it's a Jacob Hawken. I do still have basics in my deck. They're down to 10 cards, I'm down to 16. They have 2 minutes left on the clock. Does this make them scoop? Yes! Yes, we get there. Oh, we get there. Game 1. Oh, it's only game 1 and they scoop because they've only got a couple minutes on the clock. Oh my god, that was game 1. Oh my land. Oh my land. For any of you still watching at home, thank you for staying along for the ride. So what would our board have been? No, it was game 2. I'm sorry, game 2, wasn't it? Game 2. So yeah, sideboard stays the same, but we would have won game 3 just because they have less time than us. Oh, feels good. Let me just quickly call my father and tell him he raised a great man. So there you have it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Going to keep it really brief here as well because that was a really long match. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a blast for me playing and I was really excited getting that win. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you got something you want to say. Otherwise, you stay brilliant and I'm going to catch you real soon.